BOAWOE.
Shout out to the girl at the funnel cake stand, rocking her Air Maxes and long lashes, who somehow managed to turn food prep into a full contact sport. She scratched, adjusted, tapped, and touched everything within a 5-foot radius, all while wearing the same pair of gloves like they were a permanent part of her outfit. Then she went right back to making everyone's funnel cakes with the confidence of someone who truly believes she's doing it right. A true pioneer in creative food handling. Thanks, sis, for really prioritizing guest safety. Please, for the love of hygiene, don't put employees like this in food service. Maybe a role that doesn't involve guests' food, like trash pickup, would be a much better fit. At least then everything they touch is supposed to be dirty.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Best of and the Worst of Experience. My name's Ryan, and thanks for checking us out. This is our second episode, so for those of you that are new here and aren't quite sure what you clicked on, what you just saw there is what we do. We take some stories, some personal experiences, we add a twist to it, and hopefully you got something out of that. We've got plenty more of those to come. Oh, and I also saved my favorite for the end of the video, so make sure you check that out at the end. And oh, one thing, let's give a shout out to all the amusement park honeys out there, working the waffle stand, the cotton candy, popcorn, the games, all of that. They're putting in work. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
We showed up at a small, family-owned Mexican restaurant around 1 or 2 in the afternoon and were the only customers. Their 13-year-old daughter greeted us and seated us, looking a little bewildered, as if she wasn't used to anyone actually showing up on a Saturday at that hour. Shortly after we were seated, 2 kids under 10 emerged from somewhere in the back and plopped down in the booth directly behind us. Then they pulled out a tablet and cranked it to full volume, blasting a kids' program throughout the otherwise empty restaurant. At that point, we couldn't hear each other over the noise. We assumed the owners would notice and intervene. After all, they must have been hiding somewhere in the kitchen, right? Nope. Silence. The 13-year-old daughter eventually came out again, with waters and chips, completely unfazed by the cacophony behind us. She tried to take our order, mumbling nervously and clearly uncomfortable, which didn't help since we couldn't hear a word over the tablet. Finally, I just ordered a soft taco to go. We never once saw an adult. The whole experience was equal parts charming, bewildering, and absurd. On Salvia, I was, a wilted leaf of lettuce on a table, being sold by an agreeable chap on a city street corner. A soldier crawling through infinite trenches, climbing up the walls of one, only to tumble into the next. A comatose hospital patient looking up and seeing people standing over me, murmuring about my condition. A stair-step in a grand marble building, like the Capitol building, looking out over the lawn while people stepped on my head. Anyways, the actual trip itself is nothing like any of the experiences people describe. It's almost indescribable. But my general experience is that your reality becomes a giant fractal clock, pulsing and twisting in time as you lose all conception of ego. These descriptions are just the brain's way of contextualizing a hopelessly incomprehensible stream of sensory information. I'll be happy to never do it again. When I was in 5th grade, my mornings started before sunrise. I'd walk a lonely half-mile stretch to the bus, the sky barely lifting into dawn, the woods on either side, black and quiet. One morning, halfway down the road, a group of dogs slipped out from between the trees. 8 or 9 of them, all different breeds, all silent. They formed a tight half-circle across my path, their eyes fixed on me, their bodies still and unreadable. The silence was the worst part. Not a bark, not a growl, just the sound of my own breathing. Fear took over and I ran. I sprinted all the way back home, heart pounding. When I finally turned around, they were gone, not a trace of them on the road. Sometimes I think about that morning and wonder, were they blocking me or shielding me? Maybe there was something waiting further ahead, something I was never meant to meet.
So if that happened to me, I would not be walking to school ever again, and I'd be very weary about playing outside. Or one way to look at it would be there's a band of marauding dogs running the countryside, fighting evil spirits, and they are my protectors. That sounds good. I like that one. Anyway, if you guys like what you guys are checking out, please feel free to like, subscribe, comment. I'm still working on getting up Instagram and maybe even TikTok, so maybe you can find us there. And I'll see you guys on the other side. Bye.
Back in high school, I got stood up on a date. I was sitting there, feeling awkward and abandoned, when out of nowhere, a 40-year-old waitress plopped down across from me and started eating with me. It was incredibly kind of her, really. It's just that the sheer act of pity made me feel even worse. There I was, a teenager humiliated by a no-show. And suddenly, I had a grown adult sharing a meal with me like I was some sad side dish. It was one of those moments that was sweet, but also painfully, hilariously awkward. A memory that sticks with you for exactly how uncomfortable kindness can feel sometimes. My grandmother, who passed away before my sister or I were born, was an incredible Scrabble player. She even won a regional Scrabble championship for the Midwest. When my sister was very young, my parents decided to pull out my grandma's old Scrabble set. My sister looked at her tile and asked, "What does spell?" My parents looked at the letters in stunned silence. Those 7 tiles spelled her name, Rosalie. The uncanny part? She was named after my grandmother, Rosalie. Somehow, my little sister had drawn her exact 7-letter name from my grandmother's very own Scrabble set. It was one of those moments that made everyone stop and just stare. Equal parts magical, eerie, spooky, and completely unforgettable. I thought the whole situation was fun. My mother was not having fun. She wanted to forget about the whole situation and do something else. It was weird how uncomfortable she had become. This is a recurring dream. It happens over and over again. I'm in the back seat of my parents' old Chevette, which already feels like a threat, and my sister and I are hiding on the floor like that's going to help anything. My dad is white-knuckling the steering wheel, driving like he's trying to outrun a speeding ticket and the apocalypse at the same time. Meanwhile, the moon is crashing into Earth, fully on fire, looking like a giant flaming meatball of doom. Even in the dream, as a little kid, I'm like, yeah, there's nowhere safe. We're toast. This Chevette isn't outrunning a celestial body. There's this moment where I'm just lying on the floor, thinking about the futility of the whole thing, and even Dream Me shudders like, well, this is how we go. I'm 42 now, and I still have this dream every few years. Apparently, even my subconscious refuses to let the Chevette go.
Man, I hate those dreams, those anxiety dreams. Like, there's nothing you can do. It's just going to happen. And you even kind of know that you're dreaming, but there's still nothing you can do about. I don't necessarily have repetitive dreams like that. I do have repetitive flying dreams. Those are actually kind of fun. Anyway, thanks for sticking all the way through. We got some links here with our other videos that we just released. And I'll see you guys next time.